be sorry for the angel you are not. I apologize for the cruel things that I did, but I don't regret one single word I said. Just walk away, make it easy on yourself. Just walk away, please release me from this hell. Just walk away, there's just nothing left to feel. Just walk away, pretend that none of this is real. Forgive me if I told you that I cared. Would you be sorry if I swore that I'd be there? Please forgive me for laughing when you fall. I'm so sorry, but I never cared at all. Just walk away, make it easy on yourself. Just walk away, please release me from this hell. Just walk away, there's just nothing left to feel. Just walk away, pretend that none of this is. Just walk away, make it easy on us both. Just walk away, there was never any hope. Just walk away, you already know the deal. Just walk away, pretend that none of this was real.
And welcome. Episode number 11. That's one hell of a way to bring this episode on in. I want to welcome to the booth, as always, my special co-host, Luis Salmaso, Michael Kenner.
Oh, yeah.
Buenas noches, queridos. Buenas noches. ¿Cómo están todos?
Really? That's... What do you call me?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and also we got the special guest, Josh Susie, also hashtag Susie Nation. Welcome to the podcast, brother.
Woo!
All right. Good to be here.
And then we have the one, the only, the Italian from Pennsylvania. Welcome, Tony DeGennaro.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. You know, it was a very fun week at Dover, all across the board. Cup Series was awesome. Lots of green flag runs. Strategy. Xfinity actually kicked it off on Monday. Lots of green. Actually, I think we only had like one caution in the Dash for Cash, which we'll explain. And then it ran green flag. A lot of strategy in that. Absolutely phenomenal race. And Truck Series had a little tainted yellow with some cautions, but all in all, there was a lot of passing and a lot of good fun. So we will just dive our little behinds on into that. Xfinity, it was a touch chilly, and it was a fun Dash for Cash race. I think actually first Dash for Cash was Susie and Nathan Miller taking home that one, and I cannot recall. I thought I had that wrote down. Who was the second Dash for Cash winners?
I don't remember either off the top of my head.
Chris Collins was one, and I honestly feel like a dumbass because wasn't prepared for that. I forgot all about it. But anywho, fun race. After the Dash for Cash, we had a green flag that actually consisted of just Brian Wilderson staying out, and he managed his gas and pulled off a victory with a hard charge in. Josh Susie, pretty awesome, man.
It was a lot of fun.
And we have Michael Kenner back here in 16th, man. Tell me about your race, bud.
It was a pretty good race. Just got caught on them pit stop. I wanted to pit when leaders were pitting, and just got caught up. But those guys in the Xfinity series are so freaking competitive. I mean, I should just quit talking about wrecking them and just do it, because that was my only hope. It was a good race, though. It was a lot of fun. I can't believe we went 80 laps at Dover. Green flag.
Yeah, the set seemed very neutral, and you could really drive it. But there was fall off, and I saw guys actually moving up the track. So it wasn't just staying on the bottom. Some people were moving up and putting a real diamond. But it was a really fun race. And if anybody that is listening to this podcast, maybe you're from another league and just stumbled across ECR. Check out ECR Championship or ECR Racing on Facebook or the website if you're looking for an Xfinity League, because man, it was a lot of fun. Barely any cautions, and this is a huge step in the right direction for where we're going in the Xfinity Series. Don't you guys think?
Definitely.
Yeah, we were talking a couple of weeks ago that a lot of our Xfinity races were kind of serving as preparation for our Cup races the very next day. That we were having a lot of guys trying to find the limit for the track for the weekend during the Xfinity race. And because we have a lot of the same guys running both Monday and Tuesday, they would arrive at the Cup race the very next day knowing where the limits were, what they had to do. And because they could just adjust the setup, it became easier for them to drive. That's why we were seeing a lot fewer cautions during the Cup race than the Xfinity. I think at Dover, and it's weird because Dover, if you really look at it, is one of the toughest tracks to drive. And for the second straight year, because you can count that main event as the actual race, we went unbroken. Green flag runs the entire time last year during our Xfinity race, the first one. Same thing this year. Both years, back-to-back years, no cautions. And we had 40 guys on the track. There were, if you check out ARAN's broadcast on Monday, there were times where we had guys going 4 wide at Dover. 4 wide.
Yeah, and I'm just showing a clip now of the last couple laps, and you can see Luis decided to dabble a little bit in the Xfinity this week with the 88 Budweiser throwback from Junior, and just went 3 wide on the outside with fresher tires. And this is a huge gaggle of cars with our leader and everybody going. I mean, the difference of speed was absolutely crazy at the end of this race, but it was so much fun. And if this doesn't look fun to you, then you're not a racing fan, because this is insane. It was a lot of fun, a lot of good awareness, tons of good just vision by everybody to just get out there and run the race. It was so much fun.
Yeah, I was running together with Josh midway through the main event around lap 40. We were running bumper to bumper. I decided to pit. He stayed out. The difference in speed that I had once I was able to get fresh tires, I was lapping guys. I took two full laps under green from them and got back to the lead lap. With a little bit of help, I would have a shot. But that just shows, how do you take away 2 full laps from a leader? That just goes to show how much fresh tires meant at that point. They were running 2.5 to 3 seconds slower than we were.
Yeah, exactly. And then take the end of that race when you had those different strategies. And actually, the one staying out by Wilderson was the one that paid off. But the closing rate, and you had guys out there on old tires, like you said, Luis, and there was times it was 4 wide, like you say. There was never a caution. Guys on fresh tires, old tires, and Wilderson actually. I mean, the thing to do. Who knew? He stayed out and ended up taking off another one.
And that is fun, when you can actually have strategy come involved, where you're not just waiting for the next yellow. You're 20, 30 laps in, you're starting to fall back, and you have to start deciding, do I pit? Do I try and stay out? What am I doing? Guys are pitting. Do I pit? I mean, that adds a whole nother dynamic to racing, and that is what makes this, just like our title, Elite Championship Racing. It's tough. There's no win in any of these series is given. You have to go out and you have to earn it.
Hell yeah.
I talked with Brian.
You talked with Brian, huh?
Awesome.
Wow, that's interesting. I've talked to him a couple times.
He says if that race went 10 laps longer,
All right,
on
this
the
is fun.
fresher tires.
Tony, your mic's breaking up. This is becoming very fun every time that you're talking.
Yeah, just
you
let
start
it go.
and then mute. It's funny.
You better watch out, because if you start and then you stop,
Well,
Kenner's
yeah,
liable
we'll
to throw
end.
something in there. Just
We'll end.
absolutely. You never know with him. But all in all, it was a really good race. A lot of guys were putting in a lot of race runs in practice. That makes a huge difference. Unlike Richmond, everybody was going out, and we all saw it 3-4 laps. I mean, and in ECR, you have to put your run in, otherwise you start in the back. Possible even start from the pits. It just depends on the circumstance. There's a lot of variables, but it was very refreshing to see a place like Dover, which can be challenging, guys going out there with a different mentality. They were putting in 10, 15, 20 lap runs, come in, pit, get tires, do whatever, come back out, 10, 15, 20. So that is what makes, it's a testament to, that's what makes this, so good. These guys were actually caring about race runs, and it actually paid off. So everybody on this driver's list should be proud. The admins are smiling, race control's smiling. Hell, ARAM was smiling because they had one hell of a broadcast. I know Jeremy Rubin was just tickled pink when we talked to him later in the week.
Yeah, and we actually talked about that on an earlier episode. And that was actually before, Luis, the rules were changed as far as runs before the race. We were talking about guys going out there running them hot laps or whatever. And, it's good to see guys going out making race runs, seeing what their car does over the long haul, and it did. It paid off.
And the guy we have to touch on is Caleb Sheets. He's been, coming back and playing a little bit in Xfinity and Cup Series here and there. Good run for him, P4. Nathan and Josh, it's becoming no surprise that you guys are up at the top of the board. So congrats to you guys and your momentum here lately.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I
Josh.
definitely had to play catch up. I think it was after our first heat. Justin Bland had dropped out of the room, and in the process of dropping out, his car spun me out, and I took damage. So I had to play catch up the whole rest of the race. But I will say, as a voice of neutrality, everyone did a really good job at the end of that race. I agree with that, and I think I would like to see that on another track or another couple tracks, just to confirm how much everyone is gelling together in the Xfinity series. Because I will say that track and car combo, I think, is very much poised for green flag racing. So while I do love our 80 lap green flag run, and everyone did a wonderful job, I'm just kind of hesitant on having that as the standard from here on out until we can get a couple races that we're able to do that.
Well, I think it's just a testament to how the Cup Series, which we're going to be talking about here in a second, has been running. And, a lot of these guys that are Xfinity or Truck that don't run in Cup do watch the races and see what we're kind of doing in the Cup Series. And I think that, it is, you're right, you got to be a little hesitant about going, the future, but we're on the right track. Nobody wants repeats of Richmond. Lots and lots of yellows. When you start getting into that situation, that scenario of 2-3 laps, caution, 2-3 laps, caution, you're never getting fully set into a race run. But once you get in them race runs, it's on. So hopefully we can all remain optimistic. We probably will have some races that we're not going to be proud of, but all in all, this is a huge step in the right direction, and I really think that everybody seems to be on board that this is how we need to continue our movement forward. So can't say how much fun that was enough. Absolutely a blast.
Just before we...
What the fuck? Holy.
What was that?
Your mic had cut out again.
Oh.
You pause like Tony.
Oh. Can you hear me now?
Nope. Go
All
ahead.
right. Awesome. Now, just before we move to Cup, one big shout out. Scotty Brown, our Truck Series broadcaster who's now running the Xfinity races with us, he put 332 laps in practice before the race.
Ran a whole race before the race.
It's like insane what he did. He actually ran 2 races because we had 160 laps. He ran 2 full races, then the race.
And he finished
awesome.
25th, 3 laps down, but because of Brian Wilderson staying out, if you pitted too early, you obviously didn't have enough speed, or if you pitted too late, obviously you're way behind the curve. When I pitted, I was 2 laps down, and I was able to make up both of them, but as you can see right here, 24 seconds behind the leader. That's almost just past him. I think I passed him with 2 to go or 1 to go. So you're 2 laps down. You just couldn't make that up fast enough. So, I mean, a lot of strategy, a lot of fun, right direction. Good job to every single person out there. I mean, can't just say that enough. So just need to keep on doing that. Just keep working on them race runs, and we'll keep having those good results. I think it's time to move on to Cup. But before we do, we have to throw this in there. It is our 10 seconds to Kenner. Damn it, I forgot the banjo music this week. I can't believe I did that. I'm just so out of sorts this week. But anywho, Mike Kenner, are you ready for your 10 seconds?
Hell yeah.
Ready?
User
Go.
disconnected from your channel.
Josh Sheets needs to quit sending these fucking pictures that he's sending over Facebook, man. I fucking can't stand it. It's burned in my retinas. His hair's fucked up. I hope you don't fuck farm animals looking like that. I'm telling you. Because it's got me all fucked. You're welcome.
Move on to the Cup Series.
Insufficient permissions.
It was a blast. Definitely a whole new animal versus the Xfinity ride, but I thought everyone kind of tried to take care of their stuff, and you saw that with the lack of cautions over the course of the race.
Absolutely. Josh, you filled in for Luis Salmaso in the 88 car. He wasn't able to be there. He got there late and was up in the broadcast booth watching. But did you feel any sort of pressure coming in? Because this was your first Cup race in ECR, and you've kind of seen the driving in the Cup compared to some of the nationwide. Did you feel any pressure coming in and taking over Luis's ride in the 88 and just trying to put up a good finish?
I mean, there's a little bit of pressure and expectation to get him a solid finish, but mostly all the Cup regulars, they dabble in the other series, so especially Xfinity. So I've raced against just about everybody in the Cup series. So from that standpoint, I wasn't too nervous or weight on my shoulders. It was just start of practice. The set was just terrible, and thanks to everyone at Spartan Racing who gave suggestions and some tweaks, and I was able to dial the set in. And once I was comfortable with the car, I was pretty confident that I could get him a decent finish.
And you're really good friends with Nathan Miller, and Nathan stepped up a few weeks ago and was like, "Hey, I kind of want to play around the Cup Series a little bit." Got approved by the admins, and was looking for a ride. And at that time, again, Luis, had a few prior obligations, and he jumped in the 88, and he was able to pull off a win and then a second place finish, and then he got his own ride in the Cup Series. Did you feel like anything, kind of getting in the car after your good buddy Nathan got in there and had some success?
Not at Dover. Like I said, I'm not particularly fond of Dover. I seem to run well going into the race. Initially, I was hoping for a top 10, top 15, and once we got the set dialed in, I was thinking, man, I think I can get a top 5. And at one point in the race, I was running second or third. and just hounded Nathan for a number of laps. And I was like, well, if I can adjust on this car a little bit and things go my way, I might be able to get a win here. I knew you pretty much had the class of the field. That car was hooked up, but you never know with strategy and how cautions fall and whatnot. I definitely thought I could get a top 3. And then even after some of the struggles I went through with the damaged car, I was still sitting there thinking, I think I can get 3rd or 4th. And unfortunately, with the damage, the car was just way loose off the corner, and it finally bit me. I think I ended up getting him a 13th or somewhere around there. But I'll take it, pack it up, and then if I get to sub again in the future, try to post a better result.
Oh yeah, man, definitely good race. Tony, you and Ken you guys had really good races going. I think, Tony, you got caught up in a little incident, but man, before that incident, you had drove your way up to the top 5. You were sitting 5th and 6th for the longest time, man. I mean, that's definitely, a good run. Unfortunately, you got caught up in something, but I mean, it's something to be really proud of.
Yeah, I was up there, and that's what I was just thinking this better work out, and something happened in front of me, and no matter which way I went, I was going to wreck it, and I wrecked it, fixed it, went out there and rode around and did the best I could to scrounge out what I could from it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you joined. You left the Canadian Motorsports team and picked up your own team, and you're basically driver owner like Ricky Rudd. And so far, man, you're doing pretty good, man. You just got to keep your head up,
Yeah, as long as I'm paying the bills and coming out positive at the end of the day, I'm happy. And I've only had one negative week so far of the 4 weeks that we've run our single car team, and so that's good. We're paying the bills and making a little money on the side as well.
I'm surprised you and Nicole didn't start your own team together.
I thought about it, but maybe next season.
Anyways, hey Kennard, I mean, how was your night, man? It was pretty up and down.
Yeah, actually, it took me a little while to get my marks down. I had Junior Jason in my chat on my stream, telling me, back that corner up, do this and that, because I get to talking in there and then I don't focus or whatever else. But all in all, it was a good race. Everyone I raced with. I do gotta say, Matt Moritz, I think it's pronounced Moritz. I will find a correct pronunciation. That'll be my pronunciation.
I thought it was Moritz.
Is it Moritz?
Moritz.
Well,
I thought.
Anyways, him and I raced together for, it had to have been 15, 20 laps, and that was freaking intense, man. I was wore out after that, but it was awesome. And then at the end, when you pulled it into victory lane, dude, and of course we had that rash, that last round of pit stops, and then the caution came out late. I just happened to stay out. I was going to stay out as long as I could. I got lucky getting a top 10 out of it, but for you to bring that thing into victory lane with that scheme on there, boy, that finished her off for me. That was like a win.
Yeah, we'll touch on that here in just a second. We had several green flag stops, and Brian tried his same strategy from the night before, and we had a late caution, and at one point, the whole field was lapped down, and then he had to pit, and it was awesome. It is really awesome when we can go into these races and actually see green flag pit stops and then strategy come back, just how everything shakes out.
Was Brian trying to make it all the way? I'm sorry, was Brian trying to make it all the way to the end?
Yeah, at one
I don't
point.
think he would have had the fuel, but
no,
I
I
think
don't.
he was just trying to hope for a caution and put as many people lap down as he could. That's what I took out of it.
Oh, that's
well,
probably,
if you watch in the beginning of that run, he started like 3rd and dropped all the way back to 7th. I mean, he was saving, and me and Nathan were just going as hard as possible.
That's what I was thinking, because he did drop back, and then yeah.
Well, see, and I was sitting there when I was running. I was on the cups of just being about 3-4 laps short. So I really think Brian could have made it, but I mean, it was such a stretch, and I was coming, and I think. Who else was coming? I think Nelson was also coming, and Nathan Miller was too. So it would have been close. It would have been very exciting, but it's a testament to how good this Cup Series is, because we had Bristol that was good too, and Talladega. I mean, we're having a lot of good green flag runs with strategy, so it's throwing a whole nother dynamic. But got to give a shout out to Pat Russia and Chris Steele and Josh Witherspoon. They did good, and Ken Ron finished P11. I mean, that's awesome.
That's great. That's good.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
But there was a couple guys that have been fast week in and week out that just didn't have the race go their way. And Anthony and Steven and Muff, they have been fast every week and just got caught up. I think Anthony was like 5th or 6th when he got caught up in something. So just unfortunate night for those guys. Hate it because they've been running really good up front, and freak things do happen. So
Yes, I think Michael.
I think Libby was caught up
Porsche.
with somebody in the 88.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean those guys were running good. Sean Medling had a good run. Kurt Quist. So pretty good run by a lot of guys. And like I said, if anybody wants to see a good Cup race, go click on Max Speed TV and watch it. 240 laps goes by pretty quick, and it was a lot of fun. And I guess I kind of want to touch on this too. Last season at Dover, the reason why Kenner brought this up is because he had lost somebody very special to him. And I had pulled this race off in a victory. I put this scheme together and put her picture on the back, and I wound up winning that race and pulled up next to him. And we had a moment where we just sit there and cried together on TeamSpeak as friends. And we come to Dover, and I wanted nothing more than to have a repeat. And this was Dover on Tuesday night. I was able to pull it off. He was running Will Prue's daughter. Has some issues, and he's supporting Will this week, and got a little Ray there on the side of the car, and we pulled it off, and it was just something absolutely incredibly special. So couldn't pick a better guy to hang out with and share some tears with on TeamSpeak. So this is definitely an ECR family. We talk about it all the time, but that's just kind of the backdrop to what kind of was going on and the meaning behind it.
Yeah, it was a pretty big deal, dude, especially being Dover. And like I said, for those who don't know, John's the first one to ever put Raylan's picture on the car, and that was when she was still with us. And even before I did, bro, it was for the first annual Raylan 300. You put her picture on your car. I thought, man, that's freaking cool. I didn't even know you could do that. And had a buddy of mine paint my car up and put her picture on there. And after she passed away, we went into the chase, and you tried to Chicago, then New Hampshire got wrecked in the middle, and then Dover pulled it off, and I made the next cut for the championship for the chase, and it was a big deal. That's back in the fall, and then to come back to Dover once again with that paint scheme, and and to pull it off again, it was a pretty big deal. Like I said, I don't know, I was speechless at the end of that race, bro. For real.
Absolutely. And we talk constantly about ECR Strong and ECR Family, and obviously this picture that I'm showing to the podcast, it is that, but it's not a true testament when we say ECR as a family, because when Nicole had issues, there wasn't a car that wasn't pink out on the track that said "Pray for Nicole." And likewise, we had a thing with Will for his daughter. Everybody came together. So we all like to kid each other. We all like to joke each other. When we race, we all race each other like assholes sometimes. But when it comes time to somebody in our group, we are a family where we maybe fight and argue like brothers and sisters. But when something goes wrong, we all come together, and that is special. You don't have that in too many leagues. And this is something very special. Good racing, good crew, and just a privilege to be here at ECR.
That is, and sometimes for a family member or someone to just see that, it might be just something so simple as a hashtag Proof Strong or Race for Nicole or Raylan's picture. Something so simple that you wouldn't think would bring a person, lift a person up like it does. And it means a lot. I mean, this ECR I know they were here for me and Raylan's family when we went through our trouble, even more than some of our own family and friends, and it was a pretty big deal. It meant a lot.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, we need to move on to our truck series.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about this.
Susie just he gave Ronnie Norman something. I was up in the broadcast booth and talking with Scotty B. Yeah and Matthew Hibbs and Josh Sheets. There's not a fixed race that we have in ECR, whether it's Xfinity or trucks, that we're not talking about Ronnie Norman. And going in that race, I'm ready to, pretty much throw the checker at Ronnie, saying, good win. Not like that. Josh Susie had something to say about that, didn't you, bud?
Oh, I certainly tried, man, and I do have to thank Ronnie because there was one point in the race where I was leading and at the beginning of the race, and he got by me. And when someone passes me, especially in a fixed race, you want to analyze what they're doing, especially if it's the beginning of the run and not because you burned up your tires or whatnot. And you just want to see if you can pick something up that you can learn. And I was watching his line, and I went back and watched the race that night, and I heard you make a couple comments about the height of my entries, and I picked that up from Ronnie. Going in a little higher and getting that thing to cut right in the center and powering down the hill full throttle out of the corner. So I really want to say thank you to Ronnie. And I guess sometimes you teach people things that come back to bite you. But I'll take all day, any day that I can study someone that's that fast and use it to my advantage.
I guess you didn't know that I analyze as well, whether I'm up in the booth or on the track.
To beat Ronnie Norman, man, that's something big there, Susie. That's something. I mean, to beat that guy, that was a good job, bro.
But you
I
got
appreciate it.
You got out front, Josh, and you had people knocking at your door all night. Jay Adair, Jesus God, Jay Adair, man, he was fast as hell too. And at times I thought, oh man, there's no way you're going to be able to keep him back. And he unfortunately had a mishap. And then here comes Jeremy Rubin at the end of the race, starting to close on you. And I'm like, oh, damn, here he goes. And your buddy Nathan Miller was up there. And it was just truck after truck. Brad Borer was up there. It was like, good God. I mean, and you just kept defending all night, which was pretty damn sweet. But it's really exciting to be able to, unfortunately, take a step back and sit up in the broadcast booth and watch this race. It was an absolute privilege, and it was so much fun. Could have done with a few less cautions, but man, overall, good driving by a lot of these guys.
Oh, definitely. They were lining up and knocking on the door, and I had to run my race, and I think the difference between me and Adair was who was going to be out front. And that's why on the last pit stop, he took 4 and I took 2 just to get in front of him. And I was lucky enough to have a really good restart and pass him and Nathan both on the high line. And then it was just run my race, hit my marks, play defense, don't give them a good line, and see if I can bring it home.
I'm going to give a shout out here to Robert O'Neill, finished P7. He started way in the back, and I have a feeling that we're not too far away from him pulling off a victory. He's been really fast. Another name that I've been hearing a lot of in Xfinity and trucks is Mike Voss. I personally don't know too much about him, but from what everybody's saying, he's a really, really fast dude and clean. So kind of excited to see what he can pull out. Victor Cantrell as well. And then I don't think my buddy Chris Collins was able to run that one, but he's fast in Xfinity too, and he's been working on his license to see if he can promote to A. So good, absolutely great recruiting by our admin staff. We have nothing but good, respectful drivers here in ECR, and everybody wants the same thing. They want wins and green flag racing. So just absolutely amazing that we're able to come up with a roster for all 3 series like this.
Absolutely. And as part of that rookie field, I will admit that there's pressure there. Because there is so many rookies that come into this season, and like it's been mentioned on the broadcast, when people are talking about the rookies, that we're not rookies to iRacing, but we're rookies to this league, and I think that's something more than just being rookies to iRacing. I mean, this is the first league I run on iRacing. I was just always NIS before now, and to come in this basically draft class with all the talent that we have and all the raw speed that you see, obviously you want to beat the Cup guys and you want to beat the veterans, but at the end of the day, when I look at that leaderboard, I don't really want to see a rookie in front of me. I want to be the top rookie. And I think there's a lot of us that have that same mentality, and there's a bunch of people coming into their own, and it's going to be very interesting. And we picked up a couple more guys recently, and they've shown some speed, and it's going to be exciting and crazy, and that Rookie of the Year battle is going to be intense.
Absolutely. Sorry that I was coughing a little bit. But the only thing I don't understand, Kenner, is your boy Blake Freeman said that sometime during that truck race he threw his driving suit on the track and was running a nude. I honestly don't think that's legal, but he said he picked up 3/10 a lap for doing that. So somebody has got to control that dude. That's not what we need going on out there.
I got nothing to do with Freeman. He just sends me random messages and calls me Nancy. I don't got nothing to do with that dude. I will say this though, you got toasted at the beginning of that race, bro, and I'm gonna take responsibility for that.
Yeah, you put a damn hit list out, didn't you?
And I watched the broadcast. I ended up having to do something for my wife. She found out I wasn't racing, and then came up with a list of stuff I had to do because she found out I wasn't racing, I guess. So I'm going to have to, make engine noises in the basement. But I didn't watch the broadcast, but you guys were talking all kinds of smack about me, and I wasn't there to defend myself. First of all, that's a little rude.
That's definitely how we do it.
Yeah, it was funny. But Jason O'Connor, he's new to the league. He was he got into your ass and hit you, but I mean it's a conveyor belt. He's good, and I will give you a text message because I was supposed to race in the truck series, but I ended up getting caught at work, and I didn't make it in time at home. I was just a couple minutes late, but I sent him a text message right before that I was going to be watching, and I said keep your phone by you so I can tell you if you're over driving or not wrecking enough of these Fs. So. That's probably my fault. I sent him that text message that he wasn't wrecking enough people, and lo and behold, the first one he takes out is Schweikart, my buddy.
No, you know what? And for a second there, I mean, for like a split second, I hit the wall. I'm flipping. I'm like, what in the hell? I'm pissed. And then I look at it, because I try and go analyze it real quick before I open my mouth, because, I've used to getting myself in a lot of trouble for that, and I'm like, you know what, I was lifting for steel. We're so far back in the field that when checkups start happening, it happens, and he didn't have that space there to check up in time too, and it was just the accordion effect. That stuff does happen, and it's a truck series, and you can't expect it, but definitely no problems, and I'm sure he's a testament of you, and he'll be good, so nothing to sweat about it. Just stuff happens. Go out there, keep digging. That's all you got to do. There's no reason to be upset about it at all.
No, yeah, he's a good guy. Actually, I think he started iRacing from watching my stream actually, but he's a good guy, and he's gonna be all right. He's gonna run in the trucks for a while, and then he's gonna move up, and hopefully we'll build Hell Yeah Racing a little bit. But I just thought it was I laughed my ass off when it was you that he hit. I did. I laughed my ass off.
I don't think our viewers want to really watch this last lap of Susie just winning.
Yeah, they do. Is Susie Nation in here? Let's see him in the chat.
Well, that was something else. Was he had several of his buddies just going ballistic, in chat and all that stuff. So that was a good time, man. Definitely good win. Good racing by all. Just a really good week at Dover. A good week to represent ECR for all the drivers, admin staff. Not a whole lot of headaches. So just good job by everybody all around.
Definitely, and I would like to give them, another shout out. They definitely made it more special by being there. That's my first official league win in ECR. I was able to get a couple in the off season, but we know those don't really count for anything. So I've had a lot of close calls this year where I'm just right there and something happens, and to be able to finally put it together tonight and to have my buddies watching and to have everyone in there, congratulate me. And not like a smart aleck, to genuinely mean it. It's just, it made it really special. And like I said last night, it's not something I'm going to forget for a long, long time.
That's absolutely, man. And I will say this. when you win here, and whether it's the Cup Series, the Xfinity, or the trucks, when you win, man, you remember it because it's so hard. The competition is so tough. I mean, I had my last win, and I'm considered a veteran. I mean, my last win was Michigan of last season. I mean, to win here in the ECR, you get one, man. You remember it for a while. So good job, man, for sure.
Absolutely. You know, guys, we got a few things we got to cover here as we start to wrap up this podcast. You know, we got the All-Star Week coming, and the Trucks Do race is coming Wednesday. All-Star Race is Tuesday night for the Cup Series, so don't forget to check out Max Speed on Tuesday night. Xfinity is off this week, but they will be back the following week right before the 600.
There was a little murmur going around that might get moved up to this week for the Xfinity since it's Labor Day weekend that next week.
You know what? You're right. I forgot to touch on that. That is a good idea too. The admins are talking about it, so just pay attention to the Facebook. If you're ECR, man, come check out the website. Click on these links. Go vote for the fan favorite. I think two fan favorites or one fan favorite will move on in the showdown. So we'll give you a little list here of who's got votes right now. Jay Adair is at 16, Nicole Johnson 22, Tony D 9, and various votes throughout there. So go check it out. Do some voting. Vote on your favorite driver. Let's make this fun. So don't forget, and then definitely check out MaxB TV Tuesday night All-Star Race. You don't want to miss it.
No, I'm sorry, John. I was just gonna say I was a part of that All-Star Race with these guys last season, man, and that was only, I think it was my second race of the ECR, my second week, and man, was it a blast. I mean, it was. These guys are for real, man. It's all set up, rules, the whole nine, man. I was pretty impressed of my first run in the All-Star Race.
Yeah, and last year's defending winner Anthony Fitchner will be looking to defend his victory. Basically, go to the shop, guys. Pull out the fastest thing you've got. Work on that set for all raw speed. That's all you need. You don't need handling, just straight up speed. That's all you need for that $1 million at the All-Star Race.
No points on the line, boys. I say wreck these Fs. You know what's going to happen. I'm taking a bunch of crack for that race.
But let's go ahead and thank our affiliates. Jaws Graphics sponsoring the Cup Series, Johnson Truck Lines on Xfinity, the Rug Rack. You need a good rug in your house? Go check out the Rug Rack online. Say that 10 times fast. See what happens. Check them out. Nice rugs. Love them. We got to thank A-Ran for broadcasting us on Monday nights with Xfinity, Max Speed TV on Tuesdays, and Scotty B. Yeah on Wednesday nights. Just can't thank all of our affiliates enough. Check out ECRLeague.com. Tons of information, just everything. Thank our admins for keeping everything up to date and just doing everything they do. I mean, they put in a hell of a lot of work. It's probably like a part-time or full-time job, so we thank you guys. You guys have any last thoughts before we close this show down?
I'm looking forward to some more. What do you want to say? Triple headers there. The Truck Series have been off for a little while, and the Xfinity was kind of bouncing on some off weeks. So I think it's a lot of fun when you're able to have a week where you go Xfinity, Cup, and Truck, and even if you're only racing one of them, or you're not able to race at all, whatever the circumstances may be, to be able to have those three races back to back to back. It's a lot of fun for everyone in the league. And some of the stuff translates over between series, but just to be able to not have that gap, and it's a lot of fun to watch and to be a part of.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I mean, these guys to race with. Racing at Dover, the 3 Series. I mean, it's awesome racing, and I've said it before, man. As a fan, when you go back and watch these things, how can you not be at the edge of your seat watching these things, man, as a fan,
Yeah, absolutely. Tony, you got any last thoughts?
It was a great week. I agree with the back-to-back-to-back three in a row I enjoy that. It feels like you can just build momentum. You get comfortable with the track, and it makes for better racing. I believe by the time you hit the third truck race.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have a lot of fun here coming up in the upcoming weeks. You know, it's been an absolute privilege to be the host of this podcast for 11 episodes. I would love more than anything to continue on throughout the rest of the season, but unfortunately, due to schedule restrictions, I'm going to have to step down from host for just a few weeks, and I'm sure they will find somebody else to step up, take the reins, and continue on this thing. So I just want to really thank all you guys. I really want to thank the admins more than anything for allowing me the privilege to take this over and just have a lot of fun with it. It's been fun to bring you guys information week in and week out. And, man, I just can't thank you guys enough. It just means the world to be a part of this league and just, make as a hobby to be able to spend my time here. So I can't thank all you guys enough. And with that, we're going to end episode 11. And we are out.
Woo! Oh, yeah.